The night market of Vether City was never quiet. Even after sunset, blue lamps glowed over metal streets and strange creatures walked between stalls. But tonight, the air felt different. It felt heavy, cold, as if the whole city was holding its breath. Evan, a young human mechanic living on the edge of the alien district, felt it too. He had only come to buy spare engine parts, but the silence bothered him. People were rushing in one direction, whispering, pushing each other, excited and afraid at the same time. "What's happening?" Evan asked a vendor. "Execution," the vendor said with a shrug, as if it was something normal. "They caught a dangerous girl, a criminal." "A girl?" Evan repeated. "Yes, from the Lyrian species," the vendor said. "Pretty, but cursed. Stay away." Evan tried to walk away, but something inside him refused. He felt a strange pull. He didn't believe in curses. And he had seen how quickly the city judged anyone different, especially humans. He decided to follow the crowd. The people gathered around a raised platform in the center of the market. Tall guards wearing glowing armor stood in a circle. At the center was a small figure in chains. Evan pushed forward through the crowd until he finally saw her clearly, the alien girl. She was young, maybe Evan's age. Her skin had a soft blue glow, and her long silver hair fell over her face. Her clothes were torn. Her hands were tied behind her back with metal bands. She looked weak, hurt, and freezing. But what shocked Evan were her eyes, wide, silver, and full of fear. The executioner, a tall alien with 4 arms, stepped forward holding a long blade. The blade hummed with energy, glowing red. The crowd cheered. Some shouted insults. Some recorded the scene on their devices, but Evan did not move. He felt something unnatural. A cold feeling in his chest, like the universe was waiting for one decision from him. Then, the girl lifted her head. Her eyes met Evan's. In that moment, the world seemed to stop. The noise faded. The cold disappeared. Her gaze wasn't begging for help. Her gaze was warning him. She shook her head slightly, almost invisible to others. But Evan saw it. "Don't step in," her eyes seemed to say. "It will destroy you too." But Evan also saw something else, something she was trying to hide. She didn't want to die. The executioner raised the blade. The red light lit her face. The girl closed her eyes, preparing for pain. Evan felt his heartbeat pounding in his ears. He didn't know her name. He didn't know her crime. He didn't know why she was glowing, but he knew one thing. This was wrong, and he couldn't pretend. He didn't see it. Before he understood what he was doing, Evan stepped forward and shouted, "Stop!" The sound echoed through the market. Everyone turned. The guards stiffened. The executioner lowered the blade, confused. A human had interrupted an execution. No one had ever dared to do this. The captain of the guard stepped forward, armor shining. "Human," he barked. "This has nothing to do with you. Leave." Evan felt fear crawl up his spine, but he didn't move. "What did she do?" he asked. "She is a danger to this city," the captain growled. "She carries Forbidden's power." Evan looked at the girl again. She was trembling, not dangerous. Not powerful. Just terrified. "That doesn't look like a criminal to me," Evan said. Murmurs spread through the crowd. A few aliens looked nervous. Some were angry. The captain narrowed his eyes. "She must die. Step back." "No," Evan said quietly. The captain stepped closer until he stood right in front of Evan. "You want to die with her?" Evan's legs shook, but he stood firm. "If she is a danger, show proof." The captain's face twisted in anger. "Humans have no right to question our law." Evan swallowed hard. "Maybe not. But I have a right to speak, and this is wrong." The executioner raised the blade again. The girl cried out softly. Something inside Evan snapped. He ran forward before the guards could react. The crowd gasped. Evan climbed onto the platform, placing himself between the executioner and the girl. The executioner growled, "Move, human." No. Evan knew he was shaking. His hands were sweating. He felt every eye in the city staring at him. The guards pointed their weapons at him. A single wrong move could end his life. But then, he felt a hand touch his arm. The alien girl. She had opened her eyes and was looking at him with surprise and something like hope. "You should not be here," she whispered weakly. Evan gave a small, shaky smile. Too late. A loud alarm suddenly rang across the market. Red lights flashed. The captain shouted, "Seize the human, kill the girl." Everything exploded into chaos. The guards rushed forward. The executioner swung his blade. The girl screamed. Evan grabbed her arm and pulled her to the side. The blade hit the platform, where she had been sitting only a moment before. Evan pulled hard, breaking her chains loose from the wooden post. The metal still held her wrists, but she could move. "Run!" he shouted. She hesitated, then nodded. They jumped off the platform together and pushed through the crowd. People screamed and scattered. Guards chased them, energy weapons firing. Bright shots across the night. Evan held the girl's hand tightly as they ran through the narrow streets. He didn't know where they were going. He didn't know what danger awaited. But he knew one thing. He couldn't let her die. Not tonight. Not while he was alive. And behind them, alarms echoed across the city, marking the beginning of a story neither of them ever expected. The narrow streets of Vether City twisted like a maze. Evan ran as fast as he could, pulling the alien girl beside him. Her breath was weak, her steps unstable, but she tried to keep up. Behind them, alarms screamed through the night. Guards shouted orders. Boots slammed against metal ground. "She can't escape. The human has taken her. Block the eastern gate now." Evan didn't look back. He only shouted, "This way." "Stay close." The girl didn't reply. She only gripped his hand tighter. They slipped into a dark alley. Blue steam rose from broken pipes. Neon signs flickered overhead. Evan pressed his back against the wall, trying to catch his breath. "You okay?" he whispered. The girl nodded, even though her legs were shaking. "Yes, for now." Up close, Evan could see how pale she was. Her glowing skin was dim, almost fading. The metal cuffs on her wrists were burning marks into her flesh. "They hurt you?" Evan asked, anger rising inside him. She looked down. "They were built to suppress my energy. They make me weak." Evan touched the cuffs, trying to pull them apart, but the metal didn't move. It felt cold, too cold for ordinary metal. "We'll find a way to remove them," he said. "You should not help me," she whispered. "You will die because of me." Evan gave a tired laugh. "It's a little late to worry about that now." Her eyes softened, almost confused. "Why would a human save me?" Evan shrugged. "Because no one else did." Before she could answer, heavy footsteps echoed down the alley. "Guards," Van whispered. He grabbed her hand again, and they ran deeper into the narrow passage. This alley opened into an old abandoned marketplace. Most stalls were broken. No lights, no people. Just dust, shadows, and the sound of their breathing. Evan looked around. "We can hide here." "No," the girl said suddenly. Her voice was soft but firm. "They will find us anywhere." "They want me alive," Evan frowned. "Alive? But they were going to execute you." She shook her head slowly. "Execution was only a show. A way to calm the crowd. But the government does not want me dead." "What do they want?" She hesitated. Her hands trembled. "They want my blood." Evan felt a cold shiver run through him. "Why?" She looked away, fear tightening her face. "Because my blood carries something dangerous. Something they fear but also want to control." Evan stepped closer. "What kind of danger?" she whispered. "I am the last of my lineage." My DNA can unlock an ancient weapon. A weapon my people swore to destroy forever, but the government wants to use it. Evan stared at her. She wasn't lying. Her voice carried too much fear, too much pain. So they plan to kill you publicly, Evan said slowly, while secretly keeping your blood for their military. She nodded once. Yes. And now that I've taken you, Evan continued, they will hunt us both. There's a price on my life, she whispered. And now a price on yours too, Evan sighed. Great, just my luck. But then, something strange happened. The girl stepped closer and placed her glowing hand on his arm very gently, almost unsure. Thank you, she said. You risk everything for someone you do not know. Evan swallowed. Her touch felt warm, soft, alien but comforting. What's your name? He asked quietly. She hesitated, then answered, Lyra. Lyra, Evan repeated. I'm Evan. She whispered his name slowly, like she was learning it. Evan. For a moment, the night felt calm. Almost peaceful, but it didn't last. A sudden bright flash exploded behind them, a scanning drone flying overhead. Lyra gasped. Evan grabbed her hand again. They found us, he said. The drone released a loud alarm. A beam of red light marked their location. The ground shook as armored guards approached from the main street. Move! Evan shouted Dot, but Lyra didn't move. She looked at the approaching guards and whispered, I can't run anymore. I am too weak. Then I'll carry you. Without waiting, Evan lifted her into his arms. She was light, almost weightless, but her body trembled with exhaustion. You do not have to, she began. Yeah, Evan said. I know, but I'm doing it anyway. He ran through a broken doorway into an underground storage tunnel. The place smelled of rust and old water. Pipes rattled above them. The tunnel stretched far into darkness. We can lose them down here, Evan said, but Lyra looked frightened. This tunnel connects to the old district. Criminals hide here, dangerous ones. Great, Evan said. Aliens chasing us on one side, criminals on the other. Perfect night. Lyra almost smiled, but then the tunnel lights flickered. A sharp metallic voice echoed behind them. Human Evan, Lyrian girl Lyra, you cannot escape. Surrender now. It was the guard captain. Evan tightened his grip on Lyra. Hold on, he whispered. No matter what happens, I won't leave you. Lyra's eyes widened. No one had ever said those words to her before. As they ran deeper into darkness, the guard captain's voice followed them. The girl carries a weapon inside her blood. Whoever helps her will die. Evan didn't stop. He didn't look back. He had already made his choice. The tunnel grew darker as Evan carried Lyra deeper underground. Faint blue lamps flickered on the ceiling, but most were broken. Only the soft glow from Lyra's skin helped them see the path ahead. Her light was weak, but still beautiful. Almost like a small star fighting to stay alive. Evan's heartbeat echoed in his ears. His arms ached from carrying her, but he refused to stop. Tell me if you need to rest, he whispered. Lyra shook her head. I am fine, but you will get tired. I'll live, Evan said, trying to smile. Probably. Lyra looked at him with tired, curious eyes. You are strange for a human. Thanks, Evan breathed. I think. They continued, moving until they reached an old metal door. Evan pushed it open, and they entered a spacious underground chamber. Broken machines were scattered across the floor. Dust swirled in the air. The silence felt deep, heavy, almost too quiet. Evan set Lyra gently on a crate. She leaned against the wall, breathing slowly. You saved me again, she whispered. You saved me first, Evan said. Back at the platform, you warned me with your eyes. Lyra looked away. I did not want you to die. And I didn't want you to die either, Evan replied softly. Lyra's glowing eyes lifted toward him, filled with confusion. But you do not know me, Evan shrugged. Maybe I don't need to know you to know what's right. A long silence followed. Then, suddenly, the chamber lights flickered and died completely. Darkness swallowed them. Lyra gasped, grabbing Evan's arm. Her fingers were cold, trembling. It's okay, Evan whispered. I'm here. Her glow brightened just a little, enough to show her face. Fear sat in her eyes. They are coming, she whispered. I can feel them. They are close, Evan listened. At first he heard nothing, but then the faint sound of boots. Several pairs. Moving slowly, carefully. They're searching the tunnels, Evan said. No, Lyra whispered, shaking her head. Not just guards, something else, something worse. Before Evan could ask, the floor shook lightly. A metallic growl echoed through the chamber. Evan's eyes widened. What was that? Lyra whispered, a hunting drone. They use it only for high-value targets. So, for you, Evan said. Lyra lowered her head. Yes. Evan clenched his fists. Okay, then we run. No, Lyra whispered. This drone uses heat and sound tracking. If we run, it will follow. If we fight, we will die. We must stay silent, Evan nodded. Silent escape. Not easy, but possible. He knelt next to her, his face serious. Stay behind me. Don't move unless I tell you. Lyra blinked in surprise. But I should protect you. No, Evan whispered firmly. I protect you. Lyra stared at him as if she had never heard such words in her life. Her breath caught. A soft glow spread across her skin, brighter than before. It was the first time Evan realized. Her light responded to emotions. A scraping sound echoed near the entrance. The drone had arrived. 2 red lights shone through the darkness like demon eyes. Evan pulled Lyra close and pressed his back against a broken machine, hiding them in its shadow. Stay quiet, he whispered. Lyra nodded and placed her hand on his arm, steadying herself. Her touch was warm for the first time. Alive, the drone rolled into the chamber. Metal legs moved slowly, scanning every corner with sharp red lines. It made low growling sounds, sniffing the air like a beast searching for prey. Evan's heart raced. Lyra held her breath. Her glow dimmed to almost nothing. The drone paused, turned its red lights toward their hiding spot. Evan tightened his grip on Lyra's hand. Seconds passed like hours. Finally, the drone moved away, climbing up a broken staircase, its metal feet echoing as it searched elsewhere. When the sound faded, Lyra exhaled shakily. You protected me, even when you were afraid. Evan smiled softly. Fear keeps me alert. Protecting you keeps me moving. Lyra stared at him, something warm in her eyes, something growing. Before she could speak, her cuffs sparked suddenly. She cried out, holding her wrists. Lyra! Evan whispered, grabbing her hands. The metal cuffs glowed red, burning her skin. They are draining me, Lyra gasped. They slow my energy, punish me for escaping. Evan looked around desperately. He found a rusted metal bar among the old tools. Hold still. He wedged the bar into the cuff's joint and pushed with all his strength. The metal bent, just a little. Lyra cried softly, but did not pull away. One more time, Evan said, panting. He pushed again, harder. The cuff cracked. Lyra's eyes widened, glowing bright blue for a moment. The energy. It's returning, she whispered. Good, Evan breathed. We need it. Suddenly, a loud explosion shook the tunnel. The drone was returning with reinforcements. They found us again, Evan said. Lyra stood up weakly. I can move. Now because of you. Evan grabbed her hand. Then let's go. Silent escape is over. Now we run. Lyra nodded. But before they left, she whispered something Evan didn't expect. Evan, I trust you, he squeezed her hand. Then stay close. And together, they ran deeper into the unknown tunnels, their footsteps echoing into darkness. Their fates now tied together. The tunnels grew wider as Evan and Lyra ran, their footsteps echoing like distant drums. The ground sloped downward, leading them into an abandoned transport station far below the city. Old rail tracks stretched into darkness, covered in dust and broken wires. The air smelled of metal and forgotten time. Evan slowed down, breathing hard. Lyra leaned against a rusted pillar, clutching her half-broken wrist cuff. Her glow flickered in and out, like a candle trying to stay alive in a storm. Are you okay? Evan asked softly. Lyra nodded weakly. I am, but my energy is unstable. The cuff still holds some control. Evan knelt beside her. I'll break the second one too. No, Lyra said quickly, grabbing his hand. If you try now, it might release too much energy. It could harm you. Evan paused. Then we'll wait. Silence settled between them, not heavy, not awkward, just quiet, almost peaceful. Lyra looked at him, studying his face as if trying to understand something deeper than words. You could have escaped, she whispered. You could have run when the drone came, but you stayed. Why? Evan rubbed the back of his neck. I don't know. Maybe because leaving you felt wrong. Lyra's silver eyes softened. Humans are strange, and aliens are confusing. Evan replied with a small smile. Lyra almost smiled. Almost. Then her expression changed. Serious, hurt, afraid. I must tell you something, she whispered. Something dangerous. Evan sat next to her. Tell me. Lyra hesitated. Her hands trembled. Her glow dimmed. I was not born like others of my kind, she began. My people call me a mistake. My bloodline was forbidden long ago. The old rulers destroyed it because it was too powerful. Too unpredictable. Evan frowned. Powerful how? Lyra closed her eyes. My DNA can merge with an ancient structure. A locked weapon from the old wars. A weapon that could destroy entire cities if awakened. Evan felt a chill crawl up his spine. The government wants to use it? Yes, Lyra whispered. They want to force the weapon to wake through me. Evan stared at her, the fragile girl he had carried, the soft voice, the fear in her eyes. And beneath all that, a power that could shatter worlds. And if the weapon wakes, Evan said slowly, you die? Lyra nodded. My life is the price. A heavy silence followed. Evan finally asked, is that why they were going to execute you? No, Lyra said quietly. That was only for the crowd. In secret, they were going to take my body after the show. They needed my blood. Execution was only a mask. Evan's jaw clenched. Anger rose inside him like boiling fire. So they lied. They tortured you. They hunted you. Because of something you never chose. Lyra looked away. Yes. Evan placed his hand on hers gently. You didn't ask for this. You didn't choose to be born like this. Lyra blinked. Her voice shook. No one ever said that to me before. Well, Evan said softly, they should have. Lyra looked at his hand holding hers. Her breathing softened. Her glow brightened slightly warm, gentle, alive. Skin shimmered like a soft blue flame. Evan gasped. Are you okay? Lyra looked at their hands and whispered, I am not losing energy, I am gaining it. How? Evan asked. Lyra stared at him, confused but amazed. Your touch, your presence. My energy reacts to you. It grows stronger. Evan blinked in shock. My touch helps you? Lyra nodded slowly. I do not know why. But when you are near, my light returns. A silence followed warm. This time, not dangerous. Not frightening. Intimate. Evan felt his heartbeat quicken. Lyra looked into his eyes with something new, something unspoken. But before either of them could say anything, The ground vibrated. Another alarm echoed through the tunnels. Evan stood quickly. They're close. Lyra rose too, but weaker. Evan reached for her hand again, but she pulled her hand back. Evan, you must leave me, she whispered. What? Evan stepped closer. No, you do not understand, she said, voice trembling. If I am captured again, they will use me to activate the weapon, and they will kill you for helping me. If I am alone, maybe they let you go. Evan stared at her, stunned. You think I would leave you just because it's safer? You must, she whispered, silver eyes shining. Because I will not survive another capture, and I do not want your blood on my hands. Evan stepped forward and gently took her shoulders. Lyra, I didn't save you to abandon you. I didn't run through half the city to leave you in a tunnel. My choice is made. Lyra shook her head, tears forming. But why? Why risk everything? Evan touched her face softly. Because my heart doesn't lie. Lyra froze. Her glow brightened like dawn breaking in darkness. She whispered his name. Evan. But before they could speak further, a voice echoed through the station. Lyra of the Forbidden bloodline, surrender now. The human cannot save you. Lyra stepped back in fear. Evan stepped in front of her. Stay behind me, he whispered. Lyra touched his arm, trembling. Why do you protect me? Evan didn't turn. Because when my heart chooses someone, I don't walk away. Lyra's breath caught. Her glow spread softly through the dark station. And at that moment, she knew he wasn't lying. The underground station trembled as more guards approached. Their heavy boots created echoes that bounced off the walls like thunder. Evan pulled Lyra deeper into the shadows, moving between old crates and broken machines. We can still escape, Evan whispered. Lyra nodded weakly, though fear sat in her eyes. But not for long. They are closing the passages. Evan scanned the tunnels. There were 3 exits. 2 led back to the city. The third led into a section known as the Rust Zone, a lawless part of the underground, where only criminals lived. We'll go through the Rust Zone, Evan said. Lyra hesitated. Danger lives there. So do we, Evan replied. For now. They moved quickly, stepping over old train tracks and loose metal pieces. The glow from Lyra's skin helped them see in the dark. Evan stayed close, ready to hold her if she stumbled. As they entered a narrow passage, a voice whispered from the darkness. Evan, is that you? Evan froze. A figure stepped out, a young human man with sharp eyes and messy hair. Cade? Evan breathed. What are you doing down here? Cade smirked. Looking for you. The whole city is hunting you, Evan. You're famous now. Evan didn't smile. This is Lyra. She needs help. Cade's eyes flicked to her glowing skin. So the rumors were true. You really rescued her. She's innocent, Evan said firmly, and she's in danger. We need a safe place. Cade nodded slowly. I know a hideout. Come with me. Lyra tugged Evan's sleeve gently. Her voice was soft. Something is wrong. His energy feels strange. Evan whispered. He's a friend. But Lyra's eyes still held worry. Cade led them into a side tunnel lit by flickering yellow lights. The air grew warmer. The path twisted left, then right, then down a set of metal stairs into a small abandoned storage room. This is it, Cade said. No one comes here. Evan exhaled with relief. Thank you, Cade. You're saving us. Cade leaned against the wall, arms crossed. Sure. What are friends for? Lyra sat on a low crate, her glow faint. Evan checked her cuffs again. Cade watched them quietly, eyes narrowed. So, Cade said, what's your plan? You can't run forever. We just need time, Evan replied. Time to remove the cuffs. Time to get her off this planet. Cade raised an eyebrow. Off the planet? You're serious? Yes. Cade looked at Lyra. She must be important. Lyra lowered her eyes. My life brings danger. Cade smirked. I can see that. For a moment, silence settled in the room. Then Cade slowly reached into his jacket. Evan's instincts tingled. Cade, what are you doing? But it was too late. Cade pulled out a small communicator device and activated it. A red light blinked. Evan's heart dropped. No. Cade, tell me you didn't. Cade shrugged. I'm sorry, Evan, but there's a huge reward for turning her in. Enough to buy a whole house. Enough to leave this rotten city. I need that money. Lyra gasped softly. Evan stepped forward, anger burning through him. You betrayed us. You betrayed me. Cade held out his hand. Stay back, Evan. The guards will be here in minutes. If you surrender with her, maybe they'll go easy on you. Evan clenched his fists. I trusted you. That was your mistake, Cade said coldly. This girl is not worth dying for. Lyra stood up shakily, her glow trembling like a dying flame. Evan, let me surrender. I do not want you hurt. No, Evan said immediately. Not happening. Todd sighed. Don't make this harder. Just give her to the guards. You stay alive. The galaxy doesn't care about one alien girl. Evan looked at Lyra. She looked at him. The room felt smaller. The air felt heavier. And inside, both of them, something broke. Evan stepped in front of Lyra protectively. The galaxy might not care, but I do. Lyra's breath caught. Her glow brightened slightly, full of emotion and pain. Cade rolled his eyes. Unbelievable. You're going to die. For her. Before Evan could respond, footsteps thundered down the stairs. The guards had arrived. Cade, Evan shouted. Don't do this. You can still help us. But Cade stepped aside, clearing the path for the guards. It's too late, Cade said. I made my choice. Evan grabbed Lyra's hand. Run! They tried to escape through the back exit, but guards stormed in from all sides. Energy blasts lit the room with red light. A guard struck Evan in the stomach with a rifle. He collapsed, gasping. Evan! Lyra cried, reaching for him. Another guard grabbed her by the arms and pulled her away. Her cuffs flashed red, draining her energy. She screamed in pain. Stop! Leave her alone! Evan shouted, crawling toward her. He tried to stand, but another guard kicked him down, his vision blurred. His breath shook. Lyra reached out toward him desperately. Evan, don't let go. Her voice faded as the guards dragged her up the stairs. Evan's hand stretched toward hers, trembling, but their fingers never touched. The last thing he saw, before darkness swallowed him, was Lyra's glowing tears falling down her cheeks. Cade's cold voice saying, You should have walked away, Evan. His head throbbed. His body felt heavy, bruised, broken. He lay on the cold floor of a small underground cell, lit only by a single flickering lamp. Metal bars blocked the exit. The air smelled like rust and old blood. His hands were tied behind him. He tried to move. Sharp pain stabbed through his ribs. But he didn't stop. Lyra. He whispered. The memory hit him like a blade. Lyra screaming as the guards dragged her away. Her glowing tears falling. Her hand reaching for him. Cade's betrayal. Evan forced himself to sit up. He winced but pushed through the pain. He touched his chest, bruised but not broken. His cheek was cut. Blood dried on his clothing. He didn't care. Lyra. Where are you? A metallic voice spoke through a speaker in the ceiling. You're awake, human. Evan froze. It was the guard captain. You caused much trouble, the captain continued. You interfered with our execution. You helped a dangerous criminal escape. And for what? A foolish desire to be a hero? Evan clenched his jaw. Where is she? The captain laughed. She is where she belongs, in the holding chamber. Soon, her blood will activate the ancient weapon she carries. After that, she will die. Evan felt fire burn in his chest. She's innocent. She never wanted this. Innocent? The captain repeated. Her bloodline was forbidden for a reason. She was born to destroy. And now, thanks to your interference, we must begin the activation immediately. Evan stood up, grabbing the bars. If you hurt her, you will do nothing, the captain said. You are weak. You are alone. You are only human. The speaker shut off with a click. Evan's anger grew colder. Harder, sharper. I'm only human, he whispered. But that's enough. He scanned the cell carefully. The lock was electronic, glowing faint blue. The walls were old stone mixed with metal wiring. Evan noticed something. One of the wall panels was loose. He kicked it with all his strength. Metal cracked. The panel fell. Behind it was an exposed wire system, old, unstable, perfect. Evan breathed. He twisted the wires using his tied hands, pulling them until sparks flew. The cell lights flickered. The electronic lock buzzed, then click. The door slid open. Evan stepped out, adrenaline pushing away the pain. He checked the hallway, empty. Sirens echoed somewhere deep inside the facility. They're starting the activation, he whispered. He ran. The underground facility was a maze of metal corridors, glowing red warning lights and echoing footsteps. He kept low, using shadows and broken corners to hide whenever guards passed. His heart raced. His lungs burned, but he didn't stop. Eventually, he reached a heavy door labeled BIO Synchronization Chamber High SCO Righty. He heard muffled voices inside. We must hurry. Her energy is unstable. Begin the extraction. Extraction, Evans. Blood ran cold. He crept to the small viewing window, and he saw her. Lyra sat in the center of a glowing circle, tied to a metal chair. Her cuffs had been reactivated, glowing bright red. Wires ran from the cuffs to massive machines around her. Her glow flickered violently, like she was being drained. Her head hung low. Her breathing was shallow. Anguish hit Evan like a punch. No. No. Lyra. A scientist stepped closer. Begin blood resonance test. Lyra screamed as the machines activated, pulling energy from her body. Evan couldn't breathe. He couldn't think. He could only act. He kicked the door. Once. Twice. A third time, the door burst open. Guards spun around. It's the human. Evan grabbed a metal rod from the wall and swung it with pure desperation. He hit the first guard in the helmet, knocking him down. Another guard charged. Evan ducked, rolled, and slammed the rod into the guard's legs. Pain shot through Evan's ribs, but he ignored it. He fought like a man with nothing left to lose. He grabbed a fallen weapon and fired at the machine's power cable. Sparks exploded. The machine shut down. The red glow on Lyra's cuffs dimmed. Nitrogen monoxide, a scientist shouted. Lyra lifted her head weakly. Her silver eyes widened when she saw him. Evan? He rushed to her, shaking from exhaustion. I'm here, he whispered, breaking the straps on her chair. I'm not leaving you. Tears filled her eyes. You came, even after they took me. Of course I came. He grabbed the rod and smashed the first cuff. It cracked. Energy surged into Lyra's body. Her glow brightened. Guards ran into the chamber. Evan stood in front of her, weapon raised. Stay behind me, he said. Lyra touched his shoulder. No, she whispered. This time, I protect you. Her glow burst outward, soft, bright, powerful, pushing the guards back with a wave of energy that felt like wind and light combined. Evan shielded his face. When he looked up, Lyra stood tall, glowing like a living star, the broken cuff sparking at her wrist. He stared at her in awe. You're back. Lyra stepped forward, her voice stronger than before. I have strength again. Because of you. She took his hand gently. Let's leave this place. Together. Evan squeezed her hand. Yeah, he whispered. Together. Red alarms flashed through the underground facility as Evan and Lyra ran side by side. Her glow had returned soft, strong, alive. The broken cuff on her wrist sparked faint blue light, but it no longer drained her. Instead, it fed her energy like fuel to a rising flame. Evan ran with one hand holding hers tightly. Every step hurt. His ribs burned. His legs trembled. But he refused to let go. "Are you okay?" Lyra asked softly, breathless but steady. "Define okay," Evan said, trying to smile even though he was in pain. Lyra almost laughed, but fear still lived in her eyes. "You must rest." "Later," Evan replied. "Not while they're hunting us." Behind them, guards shouted orders. Energy blasts hit the walls, sending sparks raining down. "They're coming fast," Lyra said. "Then we run faster." The corridor opened into a large hangar, empty, except for a damaged transport pod lying on its side. Burn marks covered its hull. Its engine hummed weakly, still trying to live. Evan's eyes lit up. "I can fix that." Lyra stared, confused. "Fix?" "Evan, we have no time. We'll make time." He rushed to the pod, knelt beside the engine panel, and tore it open. Wires dangled, burnt and twisted. Lyra stood guard, her glow brightening as guards approached from the tunnel entrance. "Hurry," she whispered urgently. "I'm trying," Evan muttered, pulling wires, reconnecting circuits with trembling hands. Blast struck the ground near Lyra. She jumped, then raised her glowing hand. A soft wave of light spread forward, pushing the guards back a few steps. They shielded their eyes. Evan froze for a moment, staring at her dot. She was beautiful like light. Itself was alive inside her, but he forced his focus back to the engine. Just a little more. The guards regrouped and charged, shouting. "Evan!" Lyra cried. "Almost there." He twisted the final wire. The engine roared to life. "Yes," Evan shouted. "Get inside." Lyra helped lift the pod door. Evan climbed in first, grabbing her hand and pulling her in. She closed the door behind them. Evan hit the ignition. The pod rattled violently, then lifted off the hangar floor. "We're flying," Evan breathed. "For now," Lyra whispered, as red alarms echoed overhead. The pod shot through the main tunnel, smashing through loose debris. Guards fired from behind, but the pod was too fast now. They burst out of the facility into the open desert night. Cold wind rushed in through the cracked windows. The stars shined bright above a sky wide enough for hope. Evan took a deep breath. "We made it," but Lyra wasn't celebrating. She watched him with worried eyes. "You are hurt," she whispered. "I've had worse." "No," she said softly. "You risked everything for me. Why?" Evan looked at her, tired but honest. "Because I couldn't let them take you. Because I couldn't watch you die. Because, somewhere along the way, you became someone I wanted to protect." Lyra's eyes shimmered, glowing like silver water. "Humans are strange, and you're impossible," Evan said. She smiled softly. A real smile, small, uncertain, but full of feeling. But then the pod shook violently. Evan checked the controls. "Engines failing. We need to land." The desert below stretched endless yellow sand glowing under moonlight. Evan lowered the pod, letting it slide across the sand until it finally came to a stop. Silence returned. Cold, calm, open. Evan groaned, holding his ribs. Lyra moved close and helped him sit down on the warm sand. "Let me see," she said. He laughed. "I'm fine," she frowned. "Evan," he sighed. "Okay, maybe not fine." She placed her glowing hand gently over his ribs. Warmth spread through him, soft, comforting. The pain eased a little, like her light was stitching him together. "From the inside, your touch," Evan whispered. "It feels peaceful." Lyra looked at him shyly. "My energy responds to emotions. When I wish for someone to live, it helps them." Evan stared at her. Lyra looked away nervously. Why are you helping me? Evan asked. Lyra hesitated, then spoke the truth her heart had been hiding. Because you saw me as a person, she whispered. Not a weapon, not a curse. Someone worth saving. Evan's breath caught, and because. Lyra continued slowly, voice trembling. When you look at me, I feel safe. I feel like I belong somewhere. I do not understand it, but I feel it. Evan reached out and gently touched her cheek. You belong with people who care for you, he said. People who see you, and I see you, Lyra. Her glow brightened. Soft and warm like dawn, she leaned her forehead gently against his. Then I am not alone anymore, Evan smiled softly. Neither am I. A quiet breeze brushed over them, carrying sand in delicate waves. The world around them felt still, just the two of them, sitting together under a wide sky filled with stars. We cannot go back, Lyra whispered. I don't want to, Evan replied. Where will we go? She asked. Anywhere, he said. Anywhere you want. Lyra intertwined her fingers with his. Then I choose wherever you are. For the first time, they breathed without fear. For the first time, they were free. And under the silent desert. Night, a human and an alien girl sat together, bound not by danger, not by fear, but by a new feeling born in the middle of chaos. A love that wasn't supposed to happen, but did. A love born in danger. A love that would change both of their worlds forever.